Is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
Yes, I've got some news about the Tyreek Hill case. And before I get into this video, if you don't care, if you don't want to hear anything more about Tyreek Hill, I'm going to give you a second to go ahead and delete.
A few moments later.
All right, that means if you're still here, you're ready for some Tyreek Hill news. Nothing earth-shattering, but it's still some news that if you haven't been on Twitter, which most of you guys don't, in terms of the people who watch my videos, aren't on Twitter. And I'm sure we're going to get some of the comments from the people over on Twitter to come in and lambaste us because, hey, we already know that. Well, maybe you didn't. Maybe you didn't know this. Maybe I can impart some knowledge upon you and let you understand something else that's going on with the Tyreek Hill case. So first and foremost, what I want to show you is an article came out on Bro Bible. It's written by Dov Kleiman, I believe that's how his name is pronounced, and it's got a couple interesting nuggets in it. And he has been one of a accredited source that a lot of people look to on Twitter and in the news media. So I got to put some credibility in what he's saying. Let's take a look at what he said. This is Dov Kleiman's Twitter profile. Dov Kleiman, Kleiman, I guess that's how you say his name. He covers the NFL news and transactions for Bro Bible, and I see a lot of people utilize him and use him as a source. So I'm going to take it from here that the guy is credible. So he wrote an article on Bro Bible, and there was something interesting in this article that he wrote right here regarding Tyreek Hill reportedly offered alleged victim $200, which we now know. So I highlighted this part of the article. It's kind of interesting. It says surveillance footage reviewed by officers supported the accounts provided by the boat captain and the employee, further strengthening the case against Hill. Here's a big one. The employee positively identified Hill as the individual who slapped him in a photo lineup. I hadn't heard that before. I have not heard that. I haven't seen anybody report that except for Dov Kleiman right now in this article that he was picked out of a lineup. You've seen lineups. You've seen him in movies. People say, hey, can you see who the guy was that hit you? It's that guy right there. So, and there's another interesting passage down here. I got to show you. It says, with the surveillance footage corroborating the accounts of both the boat captain and the employee, the police department promptly handed the case over to the prosecutor on June 22nd for further investigation and potential charges. So a lot of people have said this thing is over and state's attorney is going to investigate and they're going to decide what they want to do. And none of that matters to me. I'm going to be the first one to say, I don't care what happens with the criminal charges. Either he gets charged or he doesn't. It's a misdemeanor. It means absolutely nothing. It's a slap on the wrist. He'll get fined maybe if he gets charged. That isn't the news. Doesn't matter if you hear a week from now that he got arrested. Doesn't matter at all. What matters is what's Roger Goodell going to do. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. You see, something popped up on Andy Slater's Twitter feed that I don't think a lot of people saw. And what it was the actual request for information from the NFL from the Miami-Dade Police Department. Here it is. I don't expect you to see it right now. I'm going to do some blow up so you can see it. But this is the actual offense incident report that was requested by the NFL. And way down at the bottom, you see, I'm going to tell you why I know that. Way down at the bottom here, you see a name. It says name of requester. It says Steve Katy. Steve Katy is the person who requested it. So we're gonna blow this up so I can go through all the different things they requested. And you can see how deep the NFL is going to get with this. So you may be saying, well, Barry, who the hell is Steve Katy? I'm going to show you right now. Steve Katy is a lead investigator with we're actually calling it SIG-9 Global Executive Security Investigations Group, SIG-9. And his profile is right here. Steve Katy, owner, retired executive lieutenant with the Broward Sheriff's Office. And here's where it gets important. Steve is currently the NFL security representative for South Florida. As a part of that assignment, Steve oversees game day security operations for all Miami Dolphins home games, and he's been part of the stadium security operations team for the past 3 Super Bowls. Impressive. Steve regularly provides security consulting and services to the league and other entities for a variety of events and meetings that are held routinely. Steve has conducted numerous best practice audit assessments of many NFL stadiums and venues across the country. Additionally, Steve is also the soccer security agent for Major League Soccer signed to the Inter Miami Soccer Club. So this guy, Steve Katy, with all of his credentials, is working for the NFL to compile all the information that they need according to the request that they put in with the Miami-Dade Police Department. And this request is amazing on how deep it goes. It goes very deep. It's information you can tell that Roger Goodell and his people are really getting everything they can about this. And unfortunately, that doesn't bode well for Tyreek Hill and the Miami Dolphins. Doesn't bode well at all. Now, let's take a look at what they're looking for. Number one, the NFL has requested that all police reports, including arrest, follow-up, and any other titled police department report relevant to this case. In addition, all witness statements, whether contained in witness interview reports or recordings of such interviews, and any transcripts that the department has made of such recordings. Number 3, all related 911 calls and related dispatch records and any transcripts that the department has made of such calls and transmissions. Number 4, all body and dash cam footage related to this case. Number 5, all surveillance video footage obtained from businesses and anywhere else relevant footage was obtained. Number 6, all photographs and video recordings depicting either the alleged victims or the alleged perpetrator's physical condition. Any medical records, ambulance, hospital, private doctor, obtained by the department in connection with this alleged incident. Next up is any other material in the police department's possession relevant to this case. And lastly, in addition to the above documents, any evidence contained in the police department file on this case. The league is also seeking interviews with any and all police department personnel who are involved with the handling of this case. So obviously the NFL is acting as its own prosecutorial agency right now. They've got Steve Katy as their lead investigator, and he's digging in. So that tells me, and it should tell you, that the NFL is taking this very seriously. It's not just something that they're going to brush off. And as I've said in a couple of my videos, if you're aware of the personal conduct policy, they can apply an enhanced criteria to Tyreek Hill's case because of his past history. Miami-Dade Police Department can't do that. The state's attorney can't do that. So that they're not going to be able to bring in his past history of choking a pregnant woman and potentially being involved in the breaking of a young child's arm. NFL with Roger Goodell can bring that in. So people are saying that you can't bring in his past history or, he's not a 3-time or repeat offender. They're absolutely wrong. Tyreek Hill is a repeat offender. It's in his history. Roger Goodell can indeed use behavior that happened before you got in the NFL. Anybody who tells you otherwise doesn't understand the personal conduct policy, the PCP, if you will, of the NFL. And so with what you've just seen, with what you see that the NFL is compiling, the information that they want, you have to see that this thing could be really big. And understand this, everybody out, I won't say everybody, a lot of people out there saying, I doubt anything could happen anyway in the 2023 season. And they're just brushing it off and saying, if anything happens, it would be 2024. That's not true either. Because of the enhanced criteria, the NFL, if they choose to, could expedite any kind of discipline that they want. Lastly, what I want to say is people keep comparing this to Alvin Kamara and Devontae Adams and things that happened, other fights that occurred. But as far as I know, unless you know different, I don't think either Kamara or Devontae had previous incidents in their history. Yeah, the Alvin Kamara thing was just god awful with him beating up that guy and Devontae pushing the cameraman. Understand that was an ESPN employee that was working on behalf of ESPN, who's a contracted employee with the NFL. There's mitigating circumstances there, not apologizing for it, but you have to understand the entire story. A lot of fans are out there trying to conflate everything and say that Alvin Kamara and Devontae Adams are all the same thing. It's not. Tyreek Hill has a behavioral issue from the past that Roger Goodell and the NFL know. He is a 3-time offender at this point. That's a big differentiator. It's not the same thing. Yes, Alvin Kamara did something really bad, but he can go in and say, hey, I'm sorry, I won't do it again. Give me 2 games, I'm good. Tyreek Hill doesn't have that benefit. Now he's got a pattern of behavior. And that's a big difference. You guys have to understand that he has a pattern of behavior. He choked a pregnant woman and pled guilty. He was involved in something where a little boy's arm got broken. And now this is his 3rd incident. And Roger Goodell, unlike the Miami-Dade police, can look at all of that history. So that's why I think this information is important. And I don't understand how some people are just blowing it off as no big deal because they're looking at the police case. Police case is nothing, means nothing. It's small potatoes. Nobody cares about a misdemeanor. He's probably going to, get, like I said, a hand slap, $200 fine. Guy may sue him civilly, but it has nothing to do with his tenure and performance in the NFL. Roger Goodell, on the other hand, is a whole different matter that people aren't talking about, and they think it's automatically going to be delayed and pushed into 2024. Next time somebody says that, next time somebody says, hey, listen, nothing's really going to happen until 2024, ask them if they're aware of the personal conduct policy and the enhanced criteria. And if they say they don't know what that means, just go ahead and just ignore what they have to say. So anyway, that's what I wanted to show you. There's some new news, not earth-shattering, but it's some new news that you may not have seen. And I just wanted to make sure you're up to date on everything that's going on with the Tyreek Hill case, especially since it's a holiday weekend and probably not much is going to be in the news. But that came out on Friday, I believe, where they actually requested all that information from the Miami-Dade police, and I haven't seen anybody talk about it. I haven't seen anybody other than Andy Slater posted it, but other than that, nobody's talked about this this additional information that contributes to an enhanced criteria application of the PCP. So anyway, enjoy your weekend, heading out to the boat, have some fun, fins up.
Is anybody catching on to this Barry guy?